the spooky, scary Stace and Barry in the morning. Whoa. It was Halloween just, wasn't it? So, hello. You loved that. It was well spooky.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you did. Hello, I'm the spooky Stace, and this is the... Oh, no, I didn't think of an adjective beforehand. What's an adjective that begins with B that means, like, scary and spooky?
Butt-tastic.
Did you say butt-tastic?
I did.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong, but it's
Did
not
I?
scary.
I think I did.
Am I butt-tastic? Yes, I am.
Hi,
guys.
Right. Yes, I do.
Welcome to Stace and Barry in the morning. We always do this thing where we like to pretend that it's actually Saturday morning when we're recording, but I'm going to be fully honest with you in because I'm lovely like that. There might be noises in the background because it's literally Halloween night and there are kids being raucous outside my house. There's a squashed pumpkin out there already. It's chaos.
Shit.
It's chaos in the streets. Panic. I always hate Halloween just because I don't like answering the door. I know that sounds horrible, so I just don't, and then kids get upset and it makes me feel bad. But like, I just can't be bothered to keep getting up and answering the door and giving people my hard-earned chocolates. So, there's that. Also, forewarning, I'm drinking a beer, guys, so I'm probably going to be gassy and possibly really talky. Might have been a bad choice for a podcast, but we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Which explains why you've been talking for what feels like 2 hours. You've not been bothered to give me any kind of introduction.
Hey guys, it's Barry.
No,
don't bother.
And don't bother now.
Come
on.
No, what
don't
a
bother.
Top-notch gent.
Don't bother now. It's gone now.
In the blue corner. I actually sounded like I was about to announce an episode of Bullseye, but oh well.
Yeah. Wow, that takes me back.
In it though, and you've won a completely useless yacht because you live in Birmingham.
And all you've got is your BFH, your bus fare home.
Ah, sad times.
Yeah, a lot of people have no idea what we're talking about.
No, I'm not even going to explain it. Should we just do a segment?
I just want to say, before you go into the segment, I'm going to
drink a beer.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say about Halloween that don't feel bad because I'm probably worse than you. I was going to say if they rebooted Scrooge, because if they rebooted Scrooge, they'd want to go, well, we can't reboot it with an old white dude, so we'll get a black guy. Yeah. And that would be me because I'm like the OG Scrooge. Oh. So my Halloween ritual is we close all the curtains, we turn off all the lights bar a couple of lamps, and we just don't open the door.
Like, there's supposed to be that unwritten rule, isn't there, that if your house isn't decorated, that means you don't want any part of Halloween. But, like, I don't think anybody pays attention to that, yeah?
No, it doesn't matter. And the thing is, it's like, even if I opened the door and there was a load of kids standing there, I'm like, dudes, I ain't got nothing for you.
Part of the reason why I don't do it, and this is very mean of me, because this is like... one kid has ruined it for all the kids in the world. But when I used to live at my nan and granddad's house, and they were quite like, we had a really big family, and there was loads of kids, so everybody was really into Halloween. Like, I just have a vivid recollection the one year of my nan opening the door, and like some kids were like trick or treat, so my nan offered them a bowl of chocolates, and then they went, nah mate, we want some money, and my nan was like, well, you're not getting any money, you can have some chocolates or go. So they were like, fuck you, you silly old bitch, and then egged our house. And so yeah, so I'm just like, do you know what, fuck them all, fuck all the children, I hate them. Don't fuck children in that sense. Anyway, let's move on, let's do a segment.
Do the trumpets.
I don't know if I can do spooky trumpets. Trumpet. Was that scary? I don't know. It sounded more
like a funeral march.
Like a dirge, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, gee, way to bring the room down.
I mean, funerals are scary because it means someone's died. Anyway.
Good point.
Shall we you talk for a bit now, Barry? Do a pick of the fortnight or something.
Okay, pick of the fortnight.
Oh no!
Pick of the fortnight.
Have you not been?
No, I have.
You shitter.
No, I have got a pick of the fortnight. It's right here. But the thing is, you know that thing you do where you've got so many windows open for one thing, but you don't know what the thing is that you want to go to. Anyway, so my pick of the fortnight. So it's for people in cheap seats. One of the biggest UK indie comic conventions is happening next week, which is Thought Bubble.
Woo woo.
Woo, woo. And I will be there as an exhibitor in the Comixology Hall, table 118, plug over, clang.
Sorry.
And someone sent in a comic because we do this thing on Geek Syndicate where people can send in what we call an elevator pitch. So the idea is they write up a pitch for be it their comic book, whatever, and we put it on the site. And so this is called Stormhaven Techs Tales from the Prep Room.
Ooh.
And I loved the pitch so much that I asked for a review copy to review a review PDF. So the blurb is, I'll read the pitch. And this is by Ben Bedford, apologies, and he's also the artist as well. Contributors John Locke, BC Brown, Will Overton, Nikki Stew, Nick Angel, Thief S. Again, apologies. So yeah, the blurb is a collection of all ages fantasy comics about the funny misadventures of two magical sciences technicians working at a high school for budding knights, wizards, and adventures. Think Dungeons and Dragons meets Harry Potter meets the Beano.
Oh, that's the Beano threw me at the end.
Yeah, do you know, it's funny because when I I love the pitch. My thing was I was kind of a bit unsure because I'm not really a fan of the Beano, just ducks from people throwing stuff at him. But as a kid, that wasn't my go-to comic. It just wasn't my humour. So I was unsure when I picked this up what it was going to be like. But I love Dungeons and Dragons and obviously the whole Harry Potter thing. I've got to say. I seem to be on a whole ride with all ages comics at the moment because they're just not putting a foot wrong for me. And this comic is brilliant. It is just brilliant. It's just laugh out loud funny and it's really inventive. The art's fantastic. It's really bright and colourful. So it basically is what it says in the tin. It's man and a woman and they basically work behind the scenes at a school. So it would be almost like if you wanted to go behind the scenes of Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of help them to get their classes ready. So they provide all the promotions and stuff like that. And it's just, it's just really fun. It's just a really fun read. And it's silly little things. Like there's a bit where the room's like really, really hot. It keeps overheating. So the guy says to her, one of them's called Fingus. And the other one is, so Fingus is a bloke. And hang on, I'll get their proper names. It is, no, Tabitha and Fingus. And they work in the magical sciences department. And so Tabitha goes down to see, so she's new. So she's new to the job. Whereas Fingus has been there for a while. And he sort of says, oh, you need to go and see the caretakers. And when she goes down to see the caretakers, it's kind of like if Gimli the dwarf and Legolas were working as this. It's almost like in Lord of the Rings, they sort of go at the end of Lord of the Rings. We're going to go and we're going to travel off together. Yeah, and this is what they did. They basically went to work in a high school as caretakers. And in this one, and Legolas looks more like a Cyclops. But anyway, that's the sort of vibe that I got from them. And they're both Cockney. And it's just stuff like that. And it's a sort of comic that you end up reading, I think, multiple times because there's so much going on in the background. Because it's so inventive. And you've got sort of school kids going back and forth. And there's a kid, and I don't know if it was done purposefully or not, but there's a kid who kind of looks a bit like Harry Potter. But obviously it's not Harry Potter.
Is it a legally safe knockoff?
So yeah, it's a legally he doesn't have a lightning bolt, so it's all good. But he's got glasses, he's got the hair. So I don't know. But so I absolutely love it. And so this was a webcomic, I believe, and then Ben did a Kickstart for it in July. So the actual sort of collected trade, so it sort of collects, I think collects 3 stories, and other bits and bobs. He's launching that at Thought Bubble next week.
Oh, nice. I'm so sad I'm not going to be at the Thought Bubble.
I know.
Stupid expensive travel and accommodation.
I know.
Bastards. Anyway.
Soz.
It isn't your fault, mate.
Kind of feel like you're making it my fault, so I feel like I've got to say soz.
Oh, that wasn't my intent. I was just sad. I'm just sad that I'm going to be missing out, innit?
I'm sad that you won't be there either. You know, we'll be cutting shapes on the dance floor.
Innit though, and like getting pissed pre-panels and shit.
Yeah. I'm an exhibitor, so I've got to cut back on the sauce because.
Yeah, but surely you could still partake in the once traditional pizza and rum hotel parties.
I know, it'd be no hotel party. I mean, I'll try and like host one, but you know.
I mean, if all else fails, just post a picture of yourself eating a pizza and drinking some rum, and then I don't know, like text you so it'll feel like I'm there or something.
Okay, maybe we'll do a Skype. We'll do like a Skype video, and you can have a rum in your house with a pizza.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now that I said it out loud, that just doesn't sound great.
Oh, the book sounds good though. That sounds good though. I mean, I love a good witchcraft and wizardry type situation. Anyway, especially if it's got like a dash of humour.
Yeah.
I think that's partially what Harry Potter was missing for me. But anyway, that's a podcast for another day.
Isn't it just?
In it though, I have got 2 picks of the fortnight. I'm sorry, but one of them I'm only going to talk about really briefly because I bang on about these things all the time. So it's just like a extra bit. But you know how I'm always going on about how amazing Ninja Sex Party and TWRP are?
Yes. Did one of them do that? One of them is a musical museum, wasn't it?
Yes. I think it was Starlight Brigade, the one with the amazing anime video.
Yep.
That was actually so. The singer on that is the singer from Ninja Sex Party. And songs by TWRP. There you go. I went to see them in concert t'other week because they did a little European tour, and it might have been one of the best gigs I've ever been to.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good. So, like, I went down to London with my good mate Phil, and we had a little beer pub crawl thing, which was really nice. And then we turned up at the Electric Ballroom, and the gig was kicked off by a band called Planet Booty, who I didn't really know beforehand, but they brought on a disco ball arse. And so I was like, well, immediately, I love you. I love you guys. They were like a really sort of like funky disco type, sexy. Oh, God, they were so good. Like, you know, when you just like, there's a band that just like bring an atmosphere and immediately you think, yeah, I'm down with this. Like, this is what I was here for. So they were on for like 20 minutes and then TWRP came out and they were just like, oh my God, like so funky and awesome. The bassist in that band is insane. Also, all of them wear weird masks and the bassist looks like a giant cat. So like, you know, 1,000 points to these people for not only being totally fucking rad, but also for doing it whilst in like the world's hottest costumes, because they must be so goddamn sweaty in those when they finish. But then they go off for like 3 minutes and then come back out because they are also Ninja Sex Party's backing band. And like, God, Ninja Sex Party is so fucking funny, and like the whole show was just like, everybody was dancing, it was super energetic, everybody was laughing and smiling and like singing along, and God, it was just like a proper like positive kind of, it's the most fun I've had at a gig in ages. Like, yeah, it was just amazing. And by the time this comes out, I think their European tour will have finished, so like, sorry, I guess, but but I've been reliably informed that they are thinking of coming back again next year because they've had such an amazing time over here, so that's good. So if you get the opportunity to see them, I would. That's all I'm going to say on that, because I talk about it all the time. So instead, my actual pick of the fortnight is episode 1 of the new Watchmen TV series.
Ooh.
Have you done a plonk your eyes on that yet?
No, I don't. Oh, that's another podcast, Mark, because my pick was almost going to be Pennyworth. I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Ooh.
But no, I've heard mixed things. Well, I say I've heard mixed things from Watchmen. I've heard it from one person who didn't like it, and I've heard it from another person who did like it. So actually, yes, that is a very definition of mixed.
I've heard two things and they were different.
Yes, the doy. So, but you're about to tip it the other way. So.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a really strong pilot. It's one of those TV shows though that I can instantly see that there's going to be people who dislike it, and and I think some of the reasons will be valid, and I think some of the reasons will be because you're a dickhead. It's it's very heavily leaning into. I hate to use these words because it makes me feel like an absolute douche nozzle, but it's very heavily reflective of the current climate.
Right, okay.
It has a very, or at the moment it does anyway. I've only seen one episode, but it has a pretty clear political stance, and it's not afraid to tell you straight up that if you don't agree with that political stance, you might actually be a prick. But if you're not into the idea of watching something that might hit a bit close to home, then I can totally understand why you wouldn't like it. But for me, because it's far enough removed from real life that I can take a step back and be like, okay, this is entertainment. I thought it was a really powerful opening. It sort of throws you into a world without spoon feeding you, but it gives you enough that you don't like. I didn't finish watching the first episode and think, I don't get it. Who's that? Why is this happening? Like, I've got a full grasp of what I need to know to be, going on with. They've introduced some really badass characters. The costume design is like really great, like really striking. And it's just, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it in case you do watch it. But like, for me, it was just one of those episodes where when it's finished and you think, where's the next one?
Okay.
It was 100% that for me. I was just like, right, where's episode 2? But I haven't watched it yet because I don't know, I'm a fan of.
I mean, the reason I haven't watched it is because Sue wants to watch it, so it's kind of finding the time where we're both about at the same time, amongst all the other stuff that we're watching. But I definitely want to give it a go because the person I was talking to who really liked it is Ian Kubart.
Okay.
And what he was saying, and this is kind of, you can apply this to Pennyworth, which I will talk about at some stage, in that you could almost take out the Watchmen part of it and it would still work really well, and in some ways would probably work better. In that, it's kind of like Watchmen it's kind of they've got the Watchmen angle in there, so obviously it gives you an automatic marketing pitch.
Yeah.
But what he's kind of saying is you could have done it just as almost like one of them sort of old like mystery men, sort of dark gritty type thing, with no real mention of Watchmen, and he said it would still work. So I'm kind of interested in watching it from that perspective, because I think Pennyworth is the same. I think you could have done it and he couldn't, and he didn't have to be like, this is a story of Bruce Wayne's butler. It could have been like, this is just a story of this guy and the crazy shit that he gets up to, and it would still work.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there's other shows where it's so intrinsic in what it's doing that it doesn't. You take out that main thing and it sort of falls apart. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I can see that with Watchmen. I think I like the Watchmen angle because it's giving them a lot to play with visually. There's a lot of very striking bits in it that are very referential to like the comics, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I thought I liked that being an angle, and I'm interested to see how it plays more into wherever it ends up going. But I really dug it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe once I've watched it, I will touch base with you.
I hope you like it, because
yeah, I hope I don't turn out to be one of the people who's actually a dick.
Well, the thing is, I could understand. I don't think you're a dick. There's going to be people who don't like it because they'll because they're people who are on the far right and they believe that, like, black people are awful and gay people are gross and that kind of thing. It'll piss off those people.
Yeah.
Those are the people I think will be a dick. I think you're more likely to dislike it because you'll see it and you'll think, oh, this is too much right now because of everything that's currently going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see it's very borderline that for me, and I'm not even really in the, I don't know. Just give it a whirl and see what you think.
Okay.
Don't listen to me, I'm irrelevant.
You're the most relevant person I know. See what I did there? I took a
Thanks.
negative and turned it into a positive.
I'm going to do a regular old trumpets because clearly my spooky trumpets aren't, they're not cutting the mustard. So, why am I doing an extended one when we both said we had to go? Look, it's Behind the Book Corner. It's a segment that Barry suggested and I ran with it, even though we've never done it before and I didn't know what he meant. And I might have got entirely the wrong end of the stick, but we'll see.
We'll see. Exciting times.
I assume it's about books, so I read one. No, listen, right, I'd read the book already, but but it's a book I can talk about. Yeah, I was assuming that you were just going to review like a book that you'd read that you liked, so that's what I've done.
No.
Oh no.
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 You were going to review a book that you liked. That's why it's called Behind the Book Corner with Stace.
Okay, cool.
Stace and Barry with Stace.
It's me. I read a book. And it's called Authority, and it's by Jeff Vandermeer, I think. I want to say. I don't know how to pronounce names. It is the second book in the Southern Reach Trilogy, which is the trilogy that the movie Annihilation is based on a bit of.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So I read Annihilation. Oh no, I've got a beer burp coming. Sorry. I read Annihilation earlier this year, and it was very, very good. But I was kind of struck by how different it was to the movie, and I don't know if that threw me off the book a bit because I was thinking about bits of the movie that I really liked that didn't turn up in the book, and there were bits in the book that I was like, that would have been cool to see visually, and it wasn't in the movie. And anyway, yeah, so it kind of tainted it a bit for me, seeing the film first. But Authority, which is like the second book in the trilogy, doesn't like bear any relation to Annihilation, the movie. I don't know if they're making a trilogy of the movies. I hope they are, but we'll see.
Yeah, don't know.
The interesting thing about these two books thus far is that the first one is it's written as though it's written by one of the ladies that goes on the expedition into the weird, what do they call it, Area X, where it's all like gone a bit wonky, and so it's very sort of she's the biologist, so it's all very sort of talking about how she's observing other people and what she's observing in Area X, and it's very much, I wouldn't say clinical, but it's not quite as, it's almost spooky because there's not a lot of like feelings and emotion-y bits in there, whereas the second book is written from the perspective of the director of the sciencey division that sends the expeditions into Scary Area X.
Right.
And it's an entirely different beast of a book. It's absolutely chonking with thoughts and feelings and emotions and memories and all sorts of scary, creepy bits. Perfect for this time of year. Well, hey. Yeah, I would highly recommend both. I think the first book might be better if you haven't already seen the film, because you won't have these like preconceived notions of what stuff looks like and the order that things happen and all that sort of thing. But yeah, the second book, I've been really enjoying the whole thing, and I'm chomping at the bit to start on the third book now, which I just got not long ago for my birthday. So I'm going to plonk that in my eyes. But I would definitely recommend. I'd be interested to see if the third one takes another perspective, because I personally think that would be more interesting. But I think it's a testament to Jeff Vandermeer's writing that he can do two like completely insanely different styles of book, but somehow have them feel like a trilogy, like a like a unit together. It's really odd, but it's really good. And yeah, creepy, spooky science, weirdness.
Cool.
Thumbs up for Slurpees.
As I said, I watched the film and enjoyed the film. So I'd be interested to give the books a go at some stage.
Yeah, I thought the film was amazing, but it was mostly for that last sort of 20 minutes where I was just like, what am I even seeing? Like, it's just so weird. But yeah, the book is very different. So I think if you're not into the book by a couple of chapters, then you're not going to be into the book. But that being said, it changes so drastically between the first and the second that you might still like the second one, so it might be worth ploughing through the first. I don't know.
Okay.
I've liked them both, so yeah, I would recommend them. And if anybody was interested, my Moments of Geek was going to be a bit of Shaun of the Dead where he's got the gun and he's doing all the shooting, because I thought that was rad.
Nice.
It's a good film, that.
Yeah. My Moments of Geek I'm saving because it's too good.
Oh, fair dues. I wanted to squeeze mine in because it's Halloween related. It doesn't work if I do it like in a couple of weeks.
No, in the middle of June.
Yeah, people are like, why are you talking about a movie from 1,000 years ago? Not at Halloween, you fanny. And then I'd have a little cry because everyone's calling me a fanny. Anyway, it is 6:59.
Well, yeah, let's get the heck out of here.
Oh yeah, baby. Have a tippity top weekend, you sexy listener bastards. That was a bit much. Sorry. This beer is 6.5%. I don't know what I was thinking. It's a school night as well. Have a good weekend, Barry. I love you. You're a star.
Stace, stop drinking.
Never. Never.